Now that we're over on the content side of policies section, we can talk a little bit about policies on the content side, where you can receive alert notifications about different activity you're concerned about, as well as have the platform take automatic action on things on your behalf if you'd like. First up on the content side of policies here is the importance to know how alert notifications go out and who those go to. So this notify admin on policy violation is who's going to be receiving those alert notifications. You can add multiple people here, just comma separated. This will also accept mail lists. Any valid email address will be acceptable in this field here, and that's who's going to be receiving those email alert notifications, and those are batched out and sent to you every 4 hours. So it'll give you an update on all the violations of any of the policies you have set up with every 4 hours there. Further down here, you may notice that there's a send email to field on each of these individual policies. That's going to allow you to override that top field and have those alert notifications on that individual policy go off to somebody else. So if we go ahead and scroll down here to some of the more behavioral student-focused policies, for example, the image risk policy here or the self-harm policy. This may be a case of where there may be somebody else who will be in charge of handling those different violations on those specific policies. For image risk, it may not be uncommon to have a resource officer or somebody else be handling those potential violent or adult images. With self-harm here, you may have a counselor or a psychologist involved in helping take a look at those various things that have been detected as having self-harm within them. So this is where you can have those alert notifications go out to somebody else instead of the primary admin there. Then on each of these various policies, you'll notice that everything is in the remediation section is set to none here, and that's by design here. So everything is in a look, don't touch configuration by default, and this is where you then can set up remediation if you so choose. So for example, here on the social security number or credit card numbers leaving the org, this is where it's going to be looking at that outbound traffic there. So are things leaving the organization? Have people sent things to the outside? Have they shared things to the outside there? And this is where if you come over to the none and click the drop down arrow, you'll be presented with some different remediation options. You have the ability to delete files, quarantine files, break shares with revoking shares there, warn end users. A little bit more limited on the shared drive, just delete files and warn user. And then over on the email side, this is where delete email and quarantine email wouldn't be applicable because this is outbound mail traffic there, so do keep that in mind. But this is where you can set things to warn end users there if you so choose. But any of this remediation here is available besides those delete and quarantine email, which wouldn't be applicable in this case. If you do set remediation, so for example, if I set this to revoke share, first off, you can choose when that action will occur. So you can have it be immediate, after a day, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. So you can delay remediation if you so choose. Not very common to see, but it is an option available there. If we look at the on remediation here, this is where you can choose to notify a user. So in the case of where you have it set to take an action where it's not going to let the end user know what's going on, in the case of revoke a share here, which is going to break those shares silently, you can then let the end user know that those shares were broken because it contained a social security number or a credit card number. You will notice too, this on remediation now has a blue icon here with a pencil and a paper. This allows you to go ahead and click into this, and this allows you to overwrite the default warning message that goes out to end users there. So there's an overall default message, but you can customize this on each individual policy if you so choose. You can also choose to notify the admin as well too. This will go ahead and send you an immediate notification when a policy has been violated there. Generally speaking, with a policy like this though, one of the common remediations might be warn user here. And you'll notice here on the email side of things, there's some different options of who you want to warn. You can warn the sender, the recipient, who's CC'd on the email. Generally speaking, in a situation like this, probably just warning the sender would make the most sense there. And this is where you could leave the notify user unchecked because this is going to just send them an email alert notification. There's a lot of additional policies available as well too, beyond that one we talked about here with the social security numbers or credit card numbers leaving the org. There's things entering the organization, so that inbound traffic there. And then there's the various link share types. So this one here, the social security numbers, credit card numbers, link sharing internal, this is looking for those internal within domain link shares there. This will also include those within domain link shares where it's searchable. So if somebody pulls up their drive and they start typing the name of a document, they could potentially stumble across it. So definitely something that can be good to keep a close eye on. And this is certainly an optional one as well too, but very much available. Below this is one that's going to be on by default. A great policy here looking for any social security numbers, credit card numbers being shared with a global link share. So being shared where anyone who has the link has either view or edit access to the document itself there. Again here, this is where you could set various remediation types depending on the situation there. Some further ones here on FERP and IEP. By default, these would be turned off here, and they would also be grayed out because the risk scans are not turned on by default as well too. Further down, we have some of more student safety, behavioral focus sides of things with image risk, ML here, self-harm risks. This toxicity one, which is more of an optional one, our behavioral toxicity risk machine learning model. Movies and videos here, another common policy that can be helpful, looking for audio and video files within email, drive, and share drive over a certain size there, in this case 100 megabytes. This is something that you can certainly adjust to. There's a lot of things you can take out. You could certainly drop off email and share drive and just focus in on things within drive. So lots of flexibility with this policy as well too, but certainly can be a helpful one to let you know about large files that may exist out there that people have decided to add into their drive files for whatever reason there. Phishing is an example of one here, not one that's an out-of-the-box policy, but one that is available there. Very easy to go ahead and set a policy up like that as well too, and this is where the platform could be set up to automatically delete an email or quarantine an email, moving it over to the user's trash there. So with that, it's also very easy to add additional policies as well too. If we come up to this Add Policy button, just go ahead and click on it here, and there's a lot of different parameters you can choose from to create those policies. So you can always start off with the different source types that the platform will be scanning within here. You'll see all those listed here. There's a lot of different file types that are available, file sizes here. You can also specify if the file is owned by an internal user or not here with the owner from organization. And this is just a valid condition here with as you can see here with Drive primarily. So under the threat section here, this is where you can choose if you want to have a risk involved with this particular policy. Some policies can involve risk. They don't necessarily have to, though, as you saw with the movies and video policy there. Malware and phishing are usually well covered with their own separate policies there. And then under the sharing section here, there's a lot of different options, whether you're looking at number of shares, if the particular file is coming from the organization or coming from the outside here. You can also choose, is it going to be explicit user group sharing there, and you can even specify further there, so you can focus in on just within domain shares if you'd like, or there's lots of things around the link share side of things as well too. You can even further specify, though, if you want to focus in on specific traffic to and from a specific user or to and from a specific OU. And there are options where you can have the policy include or exclude a specific user or OU as well too. Those are more situational ones, but certainly can be helpful as well too if you have a policy where you want to focus in on all the traffic where maybe a couple different OUs are sharing to each other, but you want to go ahead and exclude the staff OU there, but you want to monitor the rest of the student sharing or things of that nature there if there's issues with student sharing across OUs that shouldn't be. So once you've got your policy set, you just click Apply there, and then all the way at the bottom here, there is a Save button that you can click on as well too. Once you have that policy set and ready to go there, and that will go ahead and confirm all your changes there.